All right. I'm trying to fix my audio. I have a microphone that does not seem to be on. So let's see if I can get this thing working. Let's go, let's go, let's go. What's going on, people? How can I get this thing to work? Why aren't you reading? Why? Apologies. Let's see. Why is it not coming on? I'm gonna get this working. I promise. What's going on, Just Jay? Um, Trying to sync up a microphone, but it's not syncing up. I don't see why. We're trying. I don't see it. Well, let's see. Why aren't you working? Looks like it's just off. Oh, you can hear? Yeah, but you're hearing me through the. Oh, that is it. Okay. Cool. All right. So now, before I go over here, thank you for the help. Let me go over here. Add that one. We're good. Cool. I am now live on both. Oh, let me change this real quick.
What are you trying to do? We can hear you.
Okay. I'm adding it to TikTok.
The audio?
Yeah. It wasn't on there. Cool. I just got yelled at. Hello. All right, we're ready. We're good. We good to go. Continuing where we left off. Let me close this out. I don't need that. All right. Hokey doke. Why is this over here? I don't understand this. He said, hey, wifey. Yeah, I just got yelled at. Why is this showing this way? Doc, is that what that is? All right, we good. I just spent 7 minutes and 56 seconds trying to figure out how to get the mic to work on TikTok. So, what up, everybody? We are on day 11. I started adding a little detail. It's kind of fuzzy, though. Actually, it looks better over there than it does over here. But we're going to keep going with the details. We're working with the soft charcoal pencils. So that's 4B and 6B, and erasing and stump work. I added a little detail up here. It's a little bit hard to see right now, but I'm liking the progress that I'm getting right now. I'm much happier with where I am now than I was before. Let me get rid of the sound on here so that doesn't do anything. All right, let's go. And thanks to my wife, she helped me get this more straight on. It was very difficult working sideways. That's really what caused me to do the erasing that I was doing. It was very difficult to work that way. So here we are. That is live. And we're able to continue. I'm actually I'm going to stay on this side and keep working the way I was working. I'm not going to use the big stump unless I'm doing shade work now. I'm going to use the smaller stumps today. These are more for detail. So this is what I'll be using mostly today. The big one is more for smearing big areas like this on the sides. The smaller ones are for using details like wrinkles, lines, hair, all that kind of good stuff. That's where we're at today. That's what our focus is now. We're live on the new YouTube channel, the regular YouTube channel, Twitch. We're live on TikTok. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. actually needed to do some more erasing. Good, 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 good. And I'm actually to the point now where I can start using my white charcoal in areas like this so I can make it more fine. So I don't have to keep trying to keep that erased area. I can just straight up make it white and no longer harp on this area because it's the bottom lid. It's not going anywhere. It's the angles that I want. And yeah, I'm good with that. And I'm using a small stump to work around it. Hello, hello, hello over on TikTok. We are continuing where we left off Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. Yeah, was it yesterday? No. I'm losing track of days. No. Come in. I can erase here. Actually, I'll start using more white. Doing this is much, much cleaner and smoother than just erasing. Erasing is temporary and it's to keep my eyes off of the mistakes. You hear me say that a lot. I mean it. That's the sole purpose of it. And when I start doing details, when I start using white, like I said, the small stumps, that's what literally the process. And what I'm doing right now is I'm pushing all the charcoal into the, you can't really see the gradient. But if you're ever at an art store and you see art paper, it's got a bunch of little dimples in it. This one pushes the charcoal into the dimples. The larger stump just smears it over the texture. That's where you get the finish from. But when you use this one, you're pushing it in, and that actually makes the lines more solid because there's no little white. It looks like spots. When you get really close to charcoal paper, it looks like spots. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining. So yeah, so as I use the white charcoal, it helps bring stuff out. It helps make it pop. And now I can start playing with very specific shades and shadows and wrinkles and molds and all that good stuff. I'm not sure how much detail you can see, but I actually added a lot of grays into the eyebrow last live. I wanted to see how it was going to look on this paper because it looks different on different types of paper. So there's darker, if you go to an art store and you look at the Kansan paper or whatever kind of art paper they have, there's different shades of it. There's white, then there's like an off-white, there's like a tan, there's even black, brown. I'm using straight white, and it looks a little bit different depending on the type of pencils you use. Then as it ages, it looks different. Then when I'm done with this, I'm going to fix it. There's special spray you can buy. You can just also use hairspray. I'm going to use hairspray, and it also makes the drawing darker. So I've always kept that in mind. Hello, welcome. Thanks you guys for joining. Yeah, so that's what it's going to look like, and it's going to be a little bit darker than it looks here. But then it fixes, and then it kind of gets like a like when you turn it sideways, you'll see a little bit of a shine on there. Yes, I went to a couple art schools actually. When I was in high school, I took classes at the Art Institute of Chicago, which is a very famous art school and museum. And then when I got to college, I went to Columbia College, which is an art school, and I went to the American Academy of Art in Chicago, which is an art school. And then I moved to California and went to the Art Institute of California in Santa Monica, or Los Angeles in Santa Monica. So yes, a lot of art schooling, lots of art schooling. Thank you guys for coming in. Share the live, please. Share, please. And even with these small paper stumps, I have one that's a little bit smaller. It looks bigger, but it's a little bit thinner. And then I have one that's even more thinner. So depending on how detailed I want to get, these little stumps do all different things. I mean, they serve the same function, but they give you different results. So right now I'm on the largest of the small ones. The big one, like I said, all this one is it smears. It does a really good thing with smear, or does a really good job smearing large areas. And then if it's a really large area and I want to pick something up, I just use a rag and smear. And that's for large areas. But the issue with this, the difference between this and this is this smears, but it also picks up some of the charcoal. This one smears the charcoal that's available and it stays dark. So that's the difference with those. I'm going to even whiten this here. I wonder what causes this. As we get older, I noticed this. My father's eyes started getting a little bit lighter. I wonder what causes that. I never looked that up. I'm gonna look into that. Like only towards the edges, they started getting lighter. He still had really dark, almost black eyes, dark brown eyes, but around the edges, it got lighter. I never understood that, and I've seen it happen before with older people. But I always assumed it was like a condition, but he still had great vision even before he passed. So it wasn't that. So I'm gonna look into that. I'm very curious. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Asha. So I'm lightening these areas over here. So if I don't do anything with these eyes, it just looks dark and black. And if you're an artist and you're looking at it, you can see the difference. It doesn't look like a real eye. Lightening it up and highlighting the areas that you want to shine just completely changes the depth. I mean, it's a drastic difference. And for me, if you can capture the eyes of anyone, a lot of the picture cannot look like them at all, and you can still have a really, really, really good depiction of the person that you're drawing. There's a lot in somebody's eyes. There's like a whole story just capturing the eyes. So I'm also bringing it in because it's really wide. I'm bringing the edges in. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. What is that? Why did it drop down? I didn't see it. Mike Miller. Thank you so much, Mike. Appreciate you, man. So I don't know if you can notice, I brought it in. That's been my intention the whole time. I just wasn't worried about it until I started getting to this stage of actually doing detail. The whole time I've known I had to bring it in because it's too wide. Same thing with this one. I'm just not touching it yet because I'm not over there yet. My goal for the entire first portion of drawing is capturing the contrasts and the overall shapes, and the detail comes after the fact. Scrappy Yammers, what's going on? Salvador, what's up? Yo Yo, how you guys doing? Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Hit like, share, 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 share. All right. And as I bring this in with white, I'm reshaping it. Reshaping the iris. I'm also gonna I'm gonna correct the lids, or the area closest to the lids. Even down here, I'm correcting all of that right now. Correcting the shape of the iris. I'll do the pupil. The two last things I'm gonna do is gonna be the actual pupil, and then all this large stuff down here. That'll be the last things I do. I still gotta readjust the lips, so. When I start my drawing out, for whatever reason, I always start with this eye and I work my way this way and then I work my way down. I always leave this kind of generic because I'm constantly doing this anyway. So as I work my way from the top down, I'm not touching the work. It won't matter because once I get down here, there's nothing else to mess up here. So the details starts, for me, always in here. People work differently. That's just how I do. All the details going to start here, and I work in the same order. I just do this over and over and over and over and over and over and over. I gotta get this is a little too bold. A little too bold. Thank you guys all for stopping in. People use white differently too. I've drawn on completely black paper, and then did all of the contrasting with white charcoal. It's not much different. It's just like a reverse or like a negative of how people usually work. It came out really good. I liked it. I really, really, really liked it. I may make that one my thumbnail for the next live because it really did come out nice. Okay, this is too light. I need to make this whole this much darker. What's funny is my wife showed me, she helped me set up the camera. She helped me make it so that I'd be able to show TikTok the reference, and then I forgot to get the iPad. But that's okay. Next time, I promise, next time. For YouTube, this is the progress that we're making so far. How you doing, KMC? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you always, always. So that's what we're working on. Why can't I make this big again? There we go. This was where I was. I had to think about where I was. Now I can bring this down. That's very dark. I'll have to dull that down. That's way too dark. For now, it's way too dark. Mom of two, wifey two. I know you. What's up? Share, 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 share. So this is the more tedious work, but this is where this is like the part I enjoy the most, is the tedious stuff. The big stuff, lining it, that's really annoying. It's frustrating. You're erasing constantly, starting over, doing stuff. But once you get it locked into how you want it, you can start doing the details. It gets cool. It gets more, for me, it gets more enjoyable. I like this part. This is my favorite part of drawing. These really fine details. Actually, I need a smaller one for this. I may have to use the pencil just to break in there. Once you start getting like to pores and stuff, yeah, you know what? It's a little too early for that. But it's going to get to that point where I'm working on individual pores and moles and little everything. But for now, I need to just focus on all right. We're getting better. I might have to go back and watch this to see if you guys can see what I'm doing, how clear it is or how clear it shows. I'll go all the way with this one. Make this line really fine. All right, yeah, we get it. All of this is not necessary. Like I said, the last thing I'm going to do is the pupil and then all this down here. But it's always good to go back in and get all your darkest darks right before you start spraying it, because it's going to get even darker. Thank you guys all for coming in over on TikTok. Here. All right, that's good for there for now. Ooh, that's looking good. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I can kill some of this a little too bright. If you overdo it with the white, then the white's it's not as effective. You don't want everything to be white, just the brightest of the bright. I see a lot of people overdoing it white. Then it ends up looking almost like a foundation. When women wear makeup, it starts looking almost like that. So you don't want to overdo the white. You just want to be really selective about where you really highlight it. It's okay to use it everywhere, but you want to pick your spots on where it's going to be really bright. You don't want it to be overbearing. So I got to tone some of this down a little bit. So it still highlights what you're trying to do, but then it doesn't just take over and start looking like clown, like clown makeup. I don't want this too light either. Actually, I'm going to go back over this and darken it a little bit. Use this one. It was overbearing. Yeah, so I want it lighter, but not that much lighter, because it's still his skin. The only places that should be really popping are like, well, on this drawing, for the reference drawing, tip of his nose, this part of his lip, right here, and then the eyes are the brightest thing on the drawing. If anything else is standing out, it's too bright, and I'm going to be dulling it down at some point. Hello, you pink too much. All right, so I got this about right. Compared to the overall, compared to the reference, this is about right. I need to dull this down a little bit. I actually can use the big one up here, because it's a much bigger area. I'm actually also going to make all of this darker. Not too much darker, but darker for sure. Because it's still standing out too much. I need to do this and dull it down. Because like I was saying just now, this can pop. Everything else needs to be dulled down, and that makes it stand out even more. But if everything's white, nothing's white. It's too much. So we're going to tone all of this down. And then over here, I'm just going to tone all of this down. I don't know if you guys can see the difference that it's making, because it's not, I don't know. I can't see it that clearly from where I am. So it's a little bit toned down. Thank you, Cam C. I'm trying. I'm trying. Come more up here and get rid of a lot of this white. All right, I don't need that right now. So I decided on how I'm going to do these edges all the way around the whole contour. In the reference photo, it's all like a blur. And I've been trying to think of how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do like a wide gradient like I'm doing right here. I'm blending all this in so you can hardly see the contour. And then I think I'm going to do a really sharp contour, but like a single line, not going over and doing it like this, but like a very singular line. That's going to be, it'll be tricky to do, but I think that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to define that blurred edges, or we'll see if it works. I'm going to try to make that the effect. That's the goal. Welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so I actually can do a couple of right here. Let me smooth this up before a little dark. Too bright. Just needs to be lighter, not that much brighter. I'm gonna dull all of this. Keep it, I'm not gonna erase it, but I'm gonna get a little bit more dull. All right, so we've got some little lines here. I'm zooming in too, let me see. Whoops. I'm sorry, I was zooming in on the reference photo. No, I have a reference. My wife set it up so that I can show you guys on TikTok, but I don't have it. So next live I'll be able to do the reference. But no, I'm not. I am freehand drawing it, but I'm using a reference. I'm not like, well, obviously I'm not tracing or anything like that, but I do have a reference that I'm using. All right, so I need to do some erasing here. So this is what the other day I was talking about, the kneaded eraser. He's got these moles, but they're not that dark. The kneaded eraser, you can, it's literally called that because you need the eraser. You just pull it. It essentially gets rid of the charcoal that's on there. And I can dab it and lighten up those really dark dots. Who am I drawing? This is my father who passed away a couple of months back. And I'm doing this for therapeutic reasons. So I'm actually lightening up all of those little moles. And then I'm going to go back over them and just keep doing that process so they look more natural. They're not just like little dots that were drawn on there. All right, so that's yeah. Some of the molds are a little bit darker than others. Later on I'll go back in and play with that. But for now, that's what's so great about these. It picks up, but it doesn't fully erase. You can use it to fully erase. You don't have as much control because it kind of just smashes while you're doing it because you can do anything with it. The best use that I use, oh no, it's all good. It was yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Um, it's just really good for this kind of work, just dabbing and getting rid of certain areas. With if I were to try and use this, not only will it completely get rid of what I'm doing, but it'll create spots around it when I'm erasing. So the kneaded eraser is phenomenal for this. Let me go back in a little bit because I picked it up almost a little bit too much. But I'll get back to these. I'll get back onto this little stuff. So this is too dark, but for now, I'm just going to fill this in. And then just dab it away. But no, yeah, he passed away a few months ago. He lived an amazing, amazing, amazing life. He lived to be 87. Yeah, I think he would have been 88 in January. Um, Great life, ton of grandkids, ton of kids. Um, yeah, he lived an amazing life. A lot of us were able to be there, so it was great. Not great, but you know, I don't want to say it like that. Um, put it this way: when I go, I would love to go the same way, with family all around me, everyone there. Um, that was yeah. All right, so we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere with this eye. Yeah, I'm liking this. So I actually created this TikTok just so I can start drawing online. And I didn't know that there were like certain requirements you had to meet before you could go live. So when I started this drawing, I tried to go live, and that's when I realized you got to wait a certain amount of time. You got to do like a verification process. I'm like, oh, okay, well. So if you look at the videos on my page, it kind of starts at like I think week 9, not week 9, but session 9. So I think if I believe I can upload, I might upload like 1 through 8 because this is number 11, and I think this is my 3rd live on TikTok. So I'll go back and put all the old ones up. I think I did like fast versions of it, like sped up versions of it, but not the actual live. In the live, you can actually hear me explaining what I'm trying to do or what I think I'm going to achieve when doing this. It may not work out that way, but the goal. And then you'll hear me telling the stories of my father and all that good stuff. So I think I'm going to upload the full lives as well as like a sped up version, like a sped up like 3, 4, 5 minute version, just so people can see the actual process and it's fast and you don't have to hear me run my mouth. So it gives people the option. If you want to hear me run my mouth, then that's cool. But if you don't, you just want to see technique, then you can do it either way. Either way. I may even put that in the description. Yeah, this is good. And what I'm doing for people who just came in is in charcoal paper, you probably, if you've ever seen it, there's like a lot of, it's all dimples. And when you're smearing charcoal with these big ones, it doesn't get into the dimples. It just spreads the charcoal really wide. When you use these little ones, you can actually get into the dimples and it gets rid of those little dots. That's what I'm doing when the more I detail, that's how I zoom in on the actual drawing. Or not zoom in, but that's how I get rid of it. Makes it better when you zoom in. And then as you step back, charcoal is always going to look great. But the closer you get, usually the drawing, you'll start seeing the actual work that was put into it. And that's where I love, like when I go to an art museum like the Art Institute, that's what I love seeing. Is the actual detail and what really went into the drawing. Because you can see if people cheated. Not cheated, it's a different it's a different method where there's easier ways to do what I'm doing right now. I like the process of the difficult way. I enjoy getting all the way up and close to it and doing this. Some people like to just get it done fast. I'm still really fast. This one's taking longer because I got hurt and my back was hurt. So I had to step away for a long time. But it also allowed me to, when I would come up here, to just look at it, see what was wrong with it. It allowed me to fix a lot of things too. So once my back started acting right, I was able to come back and get right back into it. Hello, everybody. Thank you all for joining. Appreciate everyone for stopping by. Share, like. All right. I think I'm about to move over to this side. I focused a lot right here in just this little short area. Let's see. I think I'll do a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now I think we'll move over here. Let's see the back of my head. And I'm still using soft. So soft charcoal smears better. This one is a harder charcoal. It's more like a regular pencil. It's just really dark. Soft allows for much easier smearing and the ability to use stumps easier because it just holds onto the paper differently. So I'm using soft. I don't need hard. Once I'm committed completely to this area, I'll start using the hard charcoal because that's more final. But right now I'm moving over here to do what I did here. And let me slide this over so I can look at it better. What are you doing? Okay. Sorry, I zoomed in on the reference drawing and I'm just positioning it so I could see it better. All right, so this needs to come in anyway. This needs to be more on an angle like this. I had it too sharp, going like too much of an arch. Yeah, that was way too sharp. I need to go this way. I had an anatomy teacher, an art anatomy teacher named Mr. Scribner, and he taught me something about drawing in general, and it's something I never thought about. And when you're drawing, or like if your kids draw or whatever, and you're watching them draw, and they're looking at the picture more than they're looking at the reference, they're doing something wrong. They're drawing what they want to draw. They're not drawing what they're seeing. So that doing like this and focusing like this is good if you're creating something. Um, but if you're trying to capture something, it's completely different. You should be looking at the reference more. So when I have these pauses, I'm either looking at the reference or I'm pulling back and looking at what I've gotten so far. And then I'm just looking back and forth, back and forth, back. Almost like right before you make a right turn or a lane change, you don't just check once. You start going, then you keep, or I do, I keep looking back over to make sure nothing pops up that I didn't see or was in the blind spot. It's really similar to when you're drawing and you're trying to capture somebody else, like in a portrait setting like this. You should be looking at this more than, or not this, sorry. You should be looking at the reference more than you're looking at what you're capturing down on the paper. Because if you're looking at the paper more, most of the time it's not going to come out how you want it to come out or how you may envision it to come out. You're just admiring your own work and you're not capturing what you're supposed to be capturing. And that's how you start getting stuff that does not look like the reference also. You have to see, you have to look at that more. All right. This is too light. I haven't added any white on this side yet, but I'm leaving the lighter areas lighter. Contrast, like I was saying earlier. All about the contrast. This may be a little high. I had his eyelid was a little too high. And I definitely can't have it looking that thick, so I'm going to get rid of what I had, keep what I just put. This should always be really thin. Well, on this, with this reference, this needs to be thin. That's better. And when I do the eyebrow hair like I did on this side, I need to remember to bring this down. I'm only saying that out loud so I remember to bring it down. I'm not saying that for you guys. There's no value in what I just said other than so I don't forget. I can pull this up. Hello, everybody. Man, thank you guys for coming in. 1,300 likes. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's crazy. All right, let's start bringing this eye in. Actually, let's do this first. Let's bring it in, bring it in. So this, I gotta be careful I don't bring it too far out because this eye is much darker. The actual reference is much, much darker. So I'm just shaping it with the white because it's easier than that, than to use this fat eraser tip. It can't get a sharp, it won't get sharp. There's no way to get it sharper than using this to sharpen it up. It's another good use for white charcoal. Just getting a much sharper line. Great for doing really, really, really fine details. But when I get here, I'm definitely gonna pull this area out. I said this on my last live, but the bottom lid should never be as dark as the top lid. The top lid always has to be darker. Same thing with top lip and bottom lip. Top lip always, always, always. If you have somebody who does fine art, top lip should always be darker than the bottom. I've yet to see a circumstance where the bottom being darker worked and didn't throw the complete picture off, because everyone who looks at it is used to seeing a certain pattern, and you totally screw that pattern up. You change the norms. You know what? I can actually darken all of this down here. I'm gonna bring that out more with white. And then he's got a spot on the eyeball that's white. Dull in certain areas. This eye is definitely darker than the other one. All right. A little too dark. I'm going to use that kneaded eraser to pull some of this up so it's not real baggy look. It looks like almost like he's got really bad bags, but he didn't. So this will pull some of that up. That's better. Much, much better. I don't know if you guys can see the difference yet, but in the end result, you'll see the difference. It was not that dark. It was darker than down here, but not that much. And if you can't see it, don't worry. I'm very, very, very super, super neurotic anyway. So I'm very, very, very detail oriented. This needs to come straight. I have it kind of on an angle. I don't want it on the angle. That's better. Much, 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 much better. All right. Need to bring some of that in. I'll do this really light and then smear back. All right, I can bring this down a notch. All right, now I can pull that up. There and here. Oh, I have the eraser right here. That's not supposed to be there. All right. I guess I can do some of this up here and bring this down. A little dark patch here. So the eyebrow actually isn't as, or it wasn't fully accurate. It was too far down. So this is the actual shape of the eyebrow. So I can get rid of all of this extra that I had because this is not accurate at all. And just from doing that means I just now created a big fat area here that's not supposed to be there. So I'll be pulling this whole side of his face in, which is why I never go too dark on the outside yet, because I'm constantly adjusting the outsides. So yeah, just from getting rid of that part of the eyebrow, because now that I'm actually focused on the eyebrow, I realize how far out I went here. That was way too far out. So I'll be erasing all. Now I won't be erasing all this. I'll be going over this and getting rid of this and bringing this whole side of his face in, because this is way, way, way too far out. So all of this is going to be gone and moved or pulled, even the cheek. And now that I'm looking at, if you see how much fatter it is on this side than this side. If you don't, trust me, it's fatter on this side than it is on this side. I'm bringing this all the way into about here. And if you look at where my hand is, it looks better just from me doing that. I'm gonna pull all that in. How you doing, Solstice? What's going on? Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just honing in on the details. And now I'm making this adjustment. And that's why this looks so long. I was wondering why this one wrinkle can't be that long. Now it makes perfect sense. This is way too long. It needs to be pulled all the way in. So let me zoom out over here. And I can see the reference better. I'm pulling this all the way in. Wow. So the ear was right. It was just way too far in. Now I can bring it out. And that's huge. That's like almost an inch. That's like 3/4 of an inch that I was too far out. And I wouldn't have got there. I mean, eventually I would have gotten there, but that's crazy how off I was. Doesn't matter now because I'm catching it, but yeah, it's huge. Look at the difference from where I'm putting this line to where I had it. And bringing it in here is just going to make that big of a difference when it comes to looking at the actual reference and how it's supposed to be versus what I had. But that's the kind of thing that always happens, which is why, like I said, I focus on the interior first and work my way out, because the outside is going to change based on the inside. It always, well, for me, it always happens because I don't like using lines at the beginning of a drawing. A lot of people will draw a line, they'll do a cross, and then depending on the angle, like if they're looking off this way, they'll do a cross and they'll adjust. I don't do any of that. I start with this eye, I move to this eye, then I fill in the gap on the nose, and I do it all. That's my process. It's always been my process. It always will be my process. It works for me. It does not work for some people. I understand that, and it's not taught. You're taught to align it differently. I went too much in here. You're not taught to do it the way I do it, because if you mess up, you're screwed. But I like that. I like that. Not a fear, but it's like it's a challenge to get it right. I do end up having to do more corrections than most people, but I'm okay with that. I like that. It's like a puzzle. I like figuring it out. Maybe it'll come in even more. Yeah, you see it. Yeah. That's a huge difference. And then that's going to bring this up more. That's going to bring this up. Wow, that's a big difference. Hey, Vetted Epiphany, what's going on? Thank you. So this is actually going to come up to about here. I'll get to this part later because I get to redo the bottom lip. So this is just like a rough estimate of where I think it's going to be, but it affects the whole outside. So I'm going to do that just for my own purposes. But this definitely was wrong. Verification. Mid-live, I got to drag this thing over and make a puzzle. Okay, there it is. Cool. That was interesting. Yeah, I definitely like a challenge. Definitely like a challenge. This is this needs to be in here, which makes me bringing this in make more sense. There's kind of the dimple here. All right, well, it's been an hour, even though I started out shaky. I was able to get a lot done. It may not look like it, but for me, I got a lot done. Let me pull this back up. Wow, that's a big difference. His head was looking too big. His head started looking like mine anyway, so I should have known it wasn't right. He didn't have a big head like I do. What's going on, Dantana? Man, I brought that in a lot. That's crazy. But it's right. It's working that way too. Very cool. Very, 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 very cool. Yeah, look at that. That's wild. I'm gonna leave that there just so I can keep looking at how off I was. I could beat myself up about it. Like, what are you, blind? Not that there's anything wrong with being blind, but let me pick that up. That was a mistake. Miss Vetted, yes. Miss Vetted asked if I've ever drawn for profit. Absolutely. Everybody hit like, please. Share the live also. Apparently that means something. That means not only did you like it, but you were willing to have other people come look at it. And that is a huge compliment and definitely appreciated. All right, so I'm just doing this right now for my own purpose because I am done for the day. But yeah, I just narrowed this thing up a lot. And when I get to the mouth, I'll be able to actually do it correctly. Because right now it's just a placeholder. I'm gonna do the eyes on the next live, get more in detail like I did this one, and then just start bringing the details down and work my way like this. But other than that, thank you guys on TikTok. 1,800 likes. That's amazing, man. That's so cool. So cool. Appreciate all of you guys. You guys are awesome. And we're done. And then you guys on YouTube, I'm gonna give you an extra 5 minutes because I screwed up. I screwed up earlier and didn't know the mic was working, and I was trying to fix something that wasn't broke. So I'll keep going a little bit longer over here. And this is too light, so I can actually bring all of this down. And it's actually on an angle this way. So this is fine for me to use. Normally I wouldn't use this eraser for this kind of shading, but because it's a general area, I don't mind using it. Usually this would be blotchy, and I would use the kneaded eraser. But we're getting there. Thank you, Miss Solstice. I appreciate it. No, that's how the shine was supposed to be. I had it going like almost like a cartoonish, when really it's supposed to go down like this. And I think we're done for the day. I was doing 2 hours, but by the end of the 2 hours, I was getting annoyed. It was a little too long to go. I annoy very easily, especially when I feel like it's off. I start getting more and more annoyed, and then I end up overcorrecting things that didn't need to be corrected. So I think I'm done for the day. Thank you guys also. Follow my art channel. Let me put my art channel in there in the chat again. Because if you're on my regular channel, I'm not going to be doing this permanently on this channel. I created a channel just for drawing. I do not want to screw up the analytics from my politics, because that's what my channel is really about. I didn't have to, but I started this over here because I did not know you had to wait a period of time, apparently on TikTok and on YouTube, before you can start going live. So the channel was really old, but I had never gone live, and I had to do some verification nonsense. But thank you guys so much. Can you make it to a link? Oh, it's in the description. It's called the OSpeaks artwork. But I forgot on the verticals. Miss Letitia Third Eye, she told me that it doesn't come in a link form, but it is in the description. And it's also, I think it better be. Hold on, let me see. It also should be on my. Where is it? It also should be on my channel. Okay, I'll try to find it. Yeah, but I don't want to make you have to try. It should be there. Let me make sure. Where is it? All right, so it's there, and on my regular YouTube. Let's see. Sorry. Let's see. 6 more links. Yep, it's so even if you go to my actual channel, thank you so much. I appreciate that. My family's enjoying watching me do this too. Yeah, so even on my main channel, if you go to where it says links, it's there. It'll say TikTok artwork channel and then YouTube artwork channel. Because again, I'll be you know how everybody does. They'll put on their main channel, hey, we're live on the other channel. That's ultimately where I want to get, but I still want people to see it, because you don't just start going live on a channel and nobody knows who you are. So I appreciate all of you guys, Miss Solstice, Miss Epiphany, Vetted Epiphany. Oh, I saw you on IG. I will add you. I didn't. I'm like, who is? I don't know who this is. I'll add you now. I was like, who is this adding me? I don't know this person. But yes, and that's hilarious. Okay. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I did not connect YouTube to IG. I was like, man, I don't know who this is. Miss Solstice, Just Jay, thank you so much. KMC, thank you guys so much. Rachel Banks, I didn't even see Miss. I missed you, Miss Rachel. So I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And where's my outro? There's my outro. Later.